Hey now, it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm joined as always by JD by God Oliva. How you doing, JD?
Fight Game Media, what the world is watching. That popped in my head today while we were watching that. So, I
Yeah,
love I
it's
love
very
that intro. I always try to think of what can I add to this every week audio because I truly believe it
yeah,
needs an audio stinger.
yeah. It's very reminiscent of that like mid '90s WWF intro.
Yes, very much so. It
Yeah,
reminds me of that.
the
Ooh,
revolutionary force in
it's
sports
sports
entertainment. Yeah,
entertainment. Yeah, it totally
yeah,
makes me. It
yeah.
it warms my cold dead heart. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So earlier this week, I cut a video, some breaking news audio. I want everybody to go to Fight Game Media, the YouTube channel, and check that out. It just so happened I had just gotten to work, and the news that New Japan and Impact Wrestling are going to do a co-promotion, their own Forbidden Door, mind you. They're going to do a co-promotion WrestleMania weekend on March 30th at the Globe Theater. A few matches have been announced, so I had just gotten to work and I had a light morning, and my boss was out all morning, and I was like, you know what? I just texted Garrett. I was like, dude, I think I could go cut 10. I can go home real quick and cut 10 minutes and get it to you guys if you want to do a breaking news thing. And sure enough, I did. Garrett put it up immediately, and the video's doing well. So if everybody could do me a favor and go to that video and watch it, like it, and comment on it, I'd really appreciate it. But I'm going to try to do more stuff like that, do some more breaking news stuff throughout the week, especially whenever stuff is so big that I just don't feel like I can wait till Thursday.
no,
But
good answer.
so since everybody got a chance to hear my thoughts on it, man. So what are your thoughts on this whole New Japan Impact kind of really? It seems like they're increasing their relationship here.
It does for sure. I think that New Japan has finally figured out that New Japan America isn't really getting the job done on its own,
Mm,
right? So they have to really leverage their partnerships as often as possible because AEW said they're not going to run a WrestleMania weekend show of their own, but they loopholed Ring of Honor into it. So
mm,
why not? Why not do more of these? Like it's interesting that they're including Stardom on this one, which New Japan didn't seem to be interested in a year ago, but now they're spending all that Sasha Banks money. So, or excuse
yeah,
me, Mercedes money, all that Sasha Banks money. Excuse me.
Money, yeah,
Okay. So yeah, that makes perfect sense that you try to utilize them, especially when you're working with Impact too, because we got some pretty good knockouts for now. And
yeah.
we'll discuss that later. And I think it's good. I think this is a really good thing, especially WrestleMania weekend. You're going to get the right kind of crowd out for that. But this also leads me to ask the fundamental question of what the hell is this promotion? After they make this announcement today, you're going to do this big show with New Japan. You're going to have all this awesome work rate stuff, but you make me watch a show that's completely garbage, and I can't figure out what this promotion wants to be, and that's the most frustrating thing right now for me as a
I
viewer.
Yeah, they're definitely in an identity crisis. Because you look at the way that the way that New Japan does business and the way they present their shows, it's more in line with what AEW does. So that's why it seems like that's the perfect partnership. But Impact doesn't really do like sports very well, right? They like Impact does drama and comedy. They have their sports types guys, right? They do, they got Speedball, they got Gresham, and they got other guys like that. But it's just not something that they focus on, or at least that they don't really they don't do very well, I would say.
I
I
don't
think they
agree with that.
can.
I don't
No?
agree with that
Okay.
because our pay-per-views are very
Yes.
work rate heavy.
Yeah.
And this is the confusion to me is that 4 weeks a month I'm bombarded with just stupid shit on television, dumb skit, terrible comedy, inane, pointless jibber jabber, but then you give me these great matches every
Yeah.
month. And like I don't get what this company wants to be. Like it's it really feels like it's being pulled at two halves. Like and it's stuck somewhere in the middle and it's making me really frustrated as a viewer, right? Because I
Mhm.
know we're capable of so much more, but I'm watching fucking Taylor Wilde play with tarot cards in the corner. What the hell was that?
Well, we'll get to that because I think I put the tweet out that was the most atrocious thing I'd ever seen. Like, I'm just
Amen.
like that should have never made it to air. They should have cut that from the cutting room floor. Like, I don't know if they just blur out the tarot card stuff, but that was goddamn ridiculous. It was awful. I just
Stupid.
yeah, it's so stupid, so it's like you get excited about this New Japan stuff, and then you get back to the episode, and they had some good matches tonight. but it was also like they had some community theater like leading into those things, right? And so I just don't quite understand. Like honestly, I would have fired Taylor Wilde tonight after watching that. Like if this was live and I saw that segment, whoever put that together and Taylor Wilde, if it was Taylor Wilde's idea, it's like, look, lady, this ain't working. This witch a woman crap is just not good for TV. You either got to cut it or you need to go do something else for a living. Go back to wherever you came from and go into hiding for another 10 years because this is just not good.
Dude, like we talked about, you hear people talk about Vince McMahon back in the old WWE, the bulk taping days, right? When they would do massive tapings, right? They would tape weeks of television over the course of like 2 days.
Yeah.
And he would make guys wrestle matches again. If he didn't think it was good enough, he'd go do that match again. Right. And then you would bury the original one. And there's a lot of, dude, they had a tag team title change in 1990 that never made air. Right. The Rockers over the Hart Foundation. The rope broke and the match was ass. And Vince McMahon said, fuck it. This is never going to see the light of day. It never happened. Like,
never happened.
And that man's insane. But like, he cared, right, about his product. And there's a lot of times on this show, I'm like, do we care? Like, do we care about the weekly TV show? Because it seems like we care about our specials and our pay-per-views, which I get. You're making people pay for that. Like, and you should. There should be a higher standard to what you make me pay extra for as a consumer. And I'm for that. I agree with that. But I just feel like they're farting out these episodes lately, and they're bad. They're not good. Like, this was, we will debate the main event later. But I did not think this was a good episode. I don't think this is indicative of of the product that you are trying to sell me is. Right?
Yeah.
If you told me that this company was going to have a big card with New Japan, I'd say why?
Yeah.
Why? Why would New Japan want to work with these guys? There was nobody that's like one of your good workers, right? With matches tonight. None. Right? It was fucking terrible, Mike. This was possibly the worst episode of 2023. It was awful.
Yeah. You know what? I don't disagree. I don't think that this was their strongest effort by far. And I just remember last year around this time, we had such high hopes for the company. They were just rolling, man.
They were.
And then it just seems for whatever reason this year with the addition of Santino and then of course bringing in Dango and then they lost Eric Young, and now they're trying to push Cody Deaner as to this cult leader. And so Impact has always been kind of like backstage acting heavy, and they've always liked to have their comedy. The big difference is now most of it's just not funny. And the drama, the acting has just gotten worse with the people that they've got doing it.
That's the thing I have with comedy. If I'm watching comedy, I expect it to be funny. Like, and it's like, I can't tell the people writing it just aren't funny and are doing this because they have to do it, right? Or if they legitimately think that wrestling fans are so stupid that they find this funny. And maybe it's me. Maybe I'm out of touch, right? Because none of this stuff is funny. Like Deanna throwing chili or whatever on Giselle. Like, I'm just like, this isn't fun. Like, this is shit that I don't like watching about WWE. Like, stuff like this is why I see it creep up into other promotions, and I'm like, no, keep that there. That's what they do. Stop trying to be what they do. Do something different. I'm so over all of this crap, man. It's so bad.
Well, we got this big show coming up with New Japan, and we got No Surrender, which looks like a fucking awesome card.
It does.
But nothing that you're doing right now is leading me to get excited about it. I'm just excited about it. It's because their monthly specials and their quarterly pay-per-views since Hard to Kill last year have yet to disappoint. They just haven't. So I just know that as a guy that's doing a podcast that's watching every week, I understand that some of the shit's actually going to lead somewhere. But if I'm trying to get somebody else to watch this stuff, I just don't think it's actually going to work out. And trust me, I've tried. And last year I did get people into the show. They, after a while they stopped watching, but I gave them a reason to watch and they actually really liked it. Right now, I don't think that I would be all that successful doing that. Now, look, I didn't think that the entire show was bad. And we'll get to the main event. I liked it. I don't think that you liked it as much as I did. I thought Matt Cardona specifically had a strong night as far as character goes. I thought everything he did was pretty damn entertaining. I really like Matt Cardona.
Oh, he had to dress in a closet. Hardy har har.
I just thought that he played.
We had a
Maybe
private
what-
dressing room for you. That's actually a banquet hall that we have a bunch of pipe and drape up because we can't actually afford a dressing room. So we're actually just going to block this off. But this isn't really for you. We're going to put you in the kitchen closet. So stupid. It's so
maybe
juvenile.
maybe
It's
the
so
content
infantile.
wasn't good, but I thought Cardona played his
Yeah,
part
he
well.
does
I think
everything.
Cardona's great.
He does
He's
everything
great.
well. He
Yeah.
sells out. He freaking sells himself into everything he does. And it's beneath him, quite frankly. Like this kind of stuff, I really feel like it's beneath what he's capable of. Because
I don't think so because he's wrestling Tyrus this weekend on pay-per-view.
Well, you're not
So
wrong.
I don't think nothing's beneath anybody in pro wrestling. Everybody's capable of doing anything.
And I'm like, but why? Why do we say that? Why do we say, oh, this hobby of ours is stupid, so we should all just assume everything everyone does is stupid? We've seen like Matt Cardona did good stuff in the grimiest of grimy promotions, in the grossest. It's infuriating because he did such great work with GCW that he made that stuff stand out. So he can do good work. And I don't think I'm crazy for saying that we should expect a level of professionalism in our television show. And I give guys, it's like when people talk about Cody Rhodes as Stardust, it seems like, well, he tried really hard on that. He was all in on it. Yeah, but it fucking sucked. And he'll tell you that it sucked and he hated it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we should stop saying, well, they try really hard on, okay, we all go to work and have crappy jobs sometimes. I get that. But we should all say, you know what? That was a crap job. I did better now. I don't think it's crazy to ask these promotions to live up to the standards of their performers. Am I crazy by saying that?
No. I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say, hey, look, I'm watching your show every week. I would like you to be better. So, you know what I mean? I don't think that's crazy at all. Yeah. Just hey, if you guys would do less of this and more of this, I would enjoy myself more. But that's been the story of being a wrestling fan, right?
Chris Bay and Ace Austin are in a pre-tape, but I got to watch Tommy Dreamer wrestle in 2023 in a mixed tag match. What the hell?
Yeah. Well, hey, let's get into so let's put a bow on the New Japan stuff because it was your idea to start with that, and then you immediately went into Taylor Wilde.
Because it's so bad. Because you're promising me, you're telling me, yeah, we're gonna work with New Japan Wrestling, the standard of in-ring action across the world is New Japan Pro Wrestling and has been for a long time. And we are in this partnership. We're bringing Kenta in. Kenta's not what he used to be, but that's okay. We're going to go and do this big work rate show. And then here's all the gaga. Blah, 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 blah. And it's just how are these things are so diametrically opposed? It just, I can't process it, Mike. I can't process it.
Yeah. Well, announced for the show, we got 3 matches announced so far. We got in the main event, they're going to give this the main event billing. This was the first match to announce, but it's going to be Speedball and Will Ospreay, which should fucking rule. I know they've wrestled several times before, but I think this should be awesome. We also got Josh Alexander Kushida. Obviously, that's going to be a hell of a match. And then people aren't talking enough about this match. I'm going to tell you what. I don't think it's gonna be better than Speedball and Will Ospreay, but Moose and Jeff Cobb is gonna fucking be awesome. I love that match. People underestimate Moose because they don't like him as a person. I'm here to tell you this guy can fucking go, man. People can't seem to separate what he did when he was a football player versus his ability in the ring. The guy can work, and if you don't think so, you are a fucking idiot. Moose can go, and I think he's gonna have a great match with Jeff Cobb.
I don't know if our Impact fan, we got a big Impact fan base. I don't know if enough of them have really watched Jeff Cobb work over the last 3-4 years in New Japan. The stuff he's done with the United Empire has just been fantastic. He's so good. He's come such a long way from being Matanza Cueto. More on MLW later. But he's so good. I think him and Moose is a real interesting matchup. And they're both big, beefy dudes, but they're both really athletic, and Jeff Cobb's a smooth worker. He really is. So I think they could have a really good match between them. I really do.
Yeah. And then nothing else has been announced, but they did say that the knockouts are going to be there. They didn't announce the Stardom talent was going to be there, although New Japan did add Stardom to their hashtag earlier, but that could have been a mistake by whoever runs their social media. That stuff happens.
Did they hire Jeff Jones too? Is Jeff Jones running social media for New Japan?
Maybe, but but the fact that Impact is saying that the knockouts will be there tells me, what females work for New Japan? It's Stardom and it's Monet.
Mhm.
So you would think that somebody from Stardom is going to be there to wrestle the Knockouts. Or maybe I don't know. I know they do bring in indie talent on some of their New Japan of America shows, but I don't know. You would think it's Stardom, right? Like,
I
why
got a
else would you do this?
I got a conspiracy theory for you. I think they haven't announced anyone because they don't know who they can get in. There's a lot of visa issues going on right now.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
going
that's true.
across wrestling. Like just the other night in AEW, they couldn't bring in. They're in El Paso and they couldn't bring in the freaking Lucha Brothers because they couldn't like
And
there's
Bandito too, right?
Bandito too, and the same thing. Kenny Omega hasn't been coming in. Like WWE's been having problems with getting some of their foreign talent through V. There's a lot. I don't understand. This isn't a government show, so I can't tell you.
No,
No, you are kind of a government employee.
I,
So
there's no kinda about it. I'm 100% a federal government employee.
but I don't think you could explain to us what's going on with these visa
No, I
situations
don't
right now.
know.
I don't know, but
I
I mean, like,
It's
there's problems.
probably just a bottleneck issue.
Could be.
They just need to work their process out because like Kenny had to miss one show and then he was back the following week. I get the
Mhm.
feeling that the Mexican talent will be back next week. So
So it could be a matter of you don't know who you can get in yet. So maybe you don't announce until you get closer to the show because you don't want to have egg on your face. Which, and if that's the case, I totally
yeah,
understand that, And you just say, hey, we're going to bring some knockouts and who are they going to wrestle? Show up and find out because we don't know, you know.
yeah,
But I get
yeah.
it.
Yeah. So obviously we're really excited about it. We'll keep covering the matches as they get announced and we'll talk about those. And then of course I don't know how coverage of that show is going to go cuz I'm going to be in California during that time. So I'll be on the road. So
You're
I'm not
going.
sure
You're
how
going.
that's
Aren't you going?
I'm going so here I am going to California for 2 weeks, the last week of March and the first week of April. I will be at WrestleMania on Sunday the 2nd. So I'm going to do that show. Me and my buddy got the cheapest tickets available.
How much is
I
that?
think we're $100 a piece.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah. It's not bad. Yeah, but it's like you have obstructed view, so I think we're like behind the staging area. So we'll but even then, like we're gonna be so high up, we're gonna watch the show on the big screens anyway, so it doesn't
That's
matter. But
that's what
we
everyone
just
does high up there. So I
yeah.
mean, like, yeah.
Yeah, so we and I haven't been to WrestleMania in a long time, so and it's also my 40th birthday coming up, so that was my 40th birthday present, getting WrestleMania tickets.
Good for you.
Had I known New Japan and Impact were doing a show, I might have tried to get into town on Thursday and go to that show as well. But no, I'm going in. I'm doing that on Sunday. Then the following Monday. I'm going to Disneyland, taking the family. So
That's awesome.
gonna do that. Gonna do that whole thing. So during those 2 weeks, I might be out of pocket. We'll probably figure out an alternative way to do some stuff, but we'll figure it all out. I'm not too worried about it though. We always make the show happen.
Never done Disneyland before. Something on the bucket list.
I lived in California most of my life. I've never been there before. But I lived in Japan 2 years and I went to Tokyo Disney while I was there. So
I get that.
it's the only Disneyland I've ever been to is Tokyo.
Yeah, no, I haven't been to California since 2010, I want to say. So yeah, I never.
Hmm.
Should probably go to get there now. They got a little kid.
Yeah. But hey, let's go ahead and get into the episode here.
Do we have to?
Oh yeah, let's do it. We got big stuff to talk about. On BTI, Mike Bailey defeated Raj Singh. And that was talking BTI. Thank you, folks. Thank you for talking BTI with us.
I'm admitted not being the hugest speedball fan in the world, but the man has good matches, and you're putting him on BTI, and you leave me with the rest of this.
Well,
What
it
the
was
fuck?
I'm pretty sure it was a squash match because last week Jonathan Gresham had a squash match and he challenged Speedball for a match at No Surrender. So then Speedball this week on BTI beat Raj Singh and he accepted Jonathan Gresham's challenge. So that's the whole story there. So we're gonna get Gresham and Speedball at No Surrender, which obviously should be awesome. So
Talking BTI for real this time.
yeah. Oh yeah. I just saw the highlight on Twitter. That's all I saw of it. I promise, guys, I didn't watch it. So keeping the gimmick alive.
I don't never make it a gimmick for me. I've never watched it. I don't think I will.
Well, the last full one I watched. No, I actually did watch the match between Ziki Dice and Carly Bravo because I wanted to see that one. So
That's your guy.
I did. Yeah, I did watch that one. Opening video highlighted the Design's main event victory last week, followed by Joe Hendry's catchy song infuriating Matt Cardona, leading into tonight's main event for the digital media title. Matt Cardona, as we were talking about earlier, entered the building and he was thinking he got to his own dressing room. He was led down a hallway with a bunch of different curtains, went to this I'm doing air quotes, fancy area with a champagne and shrimp cocktail on just a random table. It turns out that wasn't his room. That was Joe Hendry's room. And they took him to a broom closet and that's where he had to dress. And he was pretty pissed off about it.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Hey, I like Cardona. It was bad content, but I think he makes it great. So
Cardona's fine. Cardona is he will do the best with the biggest ball of crap. Like,
yeah.
well, he will this weekend when he wrestles Cyrus. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we get into our first match. Brian Myers defeated Dango, and this wasn't good. I did so I liked the finish. Dango was coming over the top rope to the outside to jump on Myers, but Myers pulled out the ring apron and he got stuck in the ring apron, and then Myers hit the roster cut to the outside and then threw him in the ring and hit the roster cut again. I thought the finish was creative, but the crowd was dead for this. Dango he's got nothing going for him, man. He
Sucks.
just really doesn't. And you know what? He's out there on the internet saying he wants to have serious matches, but you can't have serious matches when you're dirty fucking Dango, you dummy.
I did not watch WWE main event in 2017, so why would I watch it now?
Yeah.
That's what this is. Just Curtis. It's what do they call him? Curtis, not Curtis
Dirty
Axel.
Dango.
Dirty Dango. He's Fandango. But what was Brian Myers? Kurt Hawkins. That's what he was.
Kurt
He
Hawkins,
was.
yeah.
I did not. I was interested in Fandango versus Kurt Hawkins in 2017. Why would I be interested in this now?
Brian Myers is better than Kurt Hawkins.
I agree with that. But
I think
Dango
Brian
is
Myers
not.
Brian Myers has been a good wrestler for Impact, but Dango is just doing his same old bullshit, right? And I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I know that he was on WWE TV, and maybe that's the appeal, but he's got nothing, man. Like this guy is, like he needs to change his character. He needs to take steroids, right? He needs to do something. The guy's like, he really thinned himself out, and
He is.
he's doing his little dancing gimmick. He just kind of looks pretty apathetic to the whole thing.
He's not in great shape right now, regardless of the steroids. Like you could just like work out,
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he cares. He really doesn't. Like,
No.
and then they gave the match like 12 minutes.
Yes,
Right?
and that
Which made
was
it even worse. Like if it was a 3-minute match, I'd be like, okay, whatever, 3-minute match. But I mean, like, it just kept going. And it wasn't
mhm.
very good because Dirty Dango's never been very good. And like this Impact falls into this rut all the time of signing people who have been on WWE TV, but Fandango hasn't mattered on WWE TV in over a decade. Like,
No.
why?
If
Why
they
do we do this?
if they brought over the act with Breeze, updated it a little bit, they it might work, right? Fandango by himself
Maybe
as Dirty Dango, right? Like I just don't get it. But if they brought over him and Breeze, because Breeze could actually work.
Breeze was talented. Yeah, I agree with
I've
that.
seen Breeze have really good matches. But so if they came in as like a tag team and updated it, they weren't doing the fashion police stuff. But if they did, kind of a newer thing, right? A new idea. I thought they could have good tag team matches, and I've seen it. But just Dirty Dango as doing kind of a knockoff Fandango, like a Always Save or Kroger brand Fandango, I'm not into it.
Kirkland. We say Kirkland out here in Illinois.
Kirkland. Okay.
No, we don't do new ideas here. We
No.
regurgitate old ideas. That's
Well,
why we have Santino Morella and Father James Mitchell's been on the show for 20 years. Like, we just don't do them.
It depends. So it really does depend. If the talent comes in with new ideas, then they do them. But if the talent comes in with the same old bullshit,
Fair.
they also do that. W. Morrissey came in with new ideas. He was a different guy than he was in WWE.
True.
Steve Macklin, right, was a different guy.
That's true. You're right. I stand corrected.
Dango and Khan, like same old shit, right? Deonna Purrazzo came in with a brand new virtuosa character that got turned down in WWE. She didn't get much WWE exposure, but I'm just saying, like those are examples. So, like I think their creative team relies on the talent more than maybe they should at times. Because if you're telling me, like if I'm in charge and Dango's like, hey, I want to come in, I want to do a half-ass version of my WWE character, but I want to have long matches. I'm going to be like, maybe you need to go work somewhere else. That's what I would say. Right. But if he comes in, it's like, hey, I got an idea for a new character. I'm like, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's try it. Right. Because that's what Impact should be. Impact should be the place where you innovate yourself and you try something new and you rebuild your brand. This fucking guy's not doing it.
No, it should be, but it isn't very often. Again, Santino Morella is right here. Right. And that's nothing special. Right. That's just another retread regurgitation. They didn't even change his name. They bought the rights to the old name for some reason. Like, I don't know, man. Like this match was, to me, the problem of where we are in this company right now. We have this great New Japan deal. We're going to work out. It's going to be awesome. Here's Brian Myers and Dirty Dango. Like,
Yeah, maybe Dango will fight Toru Yano for the King of Pro Wrestling
don't
title.
sully Toru Yano. Toru Yano's actually funny. He's
Yeah,
legitimately funny. He's one of the few guys
yeah,
in wrestling that actually does funny things.
yeah.
Not like whatever the
Well,
hell this was.
okay, but so Toru Yano versus Swinger, you in?
Would rule. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what they
Okay.
should do. That
Okay.
would be
Okay.
fantastic.
Okay. Okay.
Swinger's actually funny
Yes. Yeah.
and was
Um,
funny tonight, so actually. So we'll get to him later.
all right. Backstage, Giselle Shaw and Jai Vidal were entering catering. Shaw was picking on talent before Deanna Prazo interrupted. Then she threw some food on her.
She knocked over like a
Santina
bowl of shit, it looked like.
is a
Please dump
bullet.
the one.
It
What
was like a
was that?
goulash. I was like a goulash or something. I have no idea,
The
but
one she spelled out was like this brown. It was like either pudding or something. It looked like a bowl of shit she poured out. I don't know. It was
yeah,
weird.
Santino Morella just showed up and then made a match for No Surrender. So if you want to get a match of No Surrender, spill food on somebody. I guess that's how it works around here. One funny thing happened. Santino Morella stuck his finger in the chili on Giselle's face and licked his finger. I thought that was kind of funny, but other than that, the whole thing was dog shit.
Complete dog shit. I hated it.
Uh,
And now we're
backstage,
selling Deanna with it too. Now she gets to wallow
yeah,
in the dog shit too.
she's drugging this thing. So Jim Miller was with Trey Miguel. Miguel cut a promo on Crazy Steve before the
Oh.
lights flickered, and Steve's laugh heard overhead while his logo appeared on the monitor.
And then the logo bled, and Trey was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, my logo is bleeding." Why? Just what the? I forgot about this until you brought it up. Like
I forgot
this
about
was
it too.
this was so stupid. Why do wrestlers have to be dumb? Why do they have to act like Scooby Doo characters?
I don't
Like
know. Scooby Doo was awesome though.
as a child in a cartoon, yes, you're 100% correct. When I hang out with my 6-year-old, we'll watch Scooby Doo together and it'll be fun. That's not what I watch
Yeah.
wrestling for. Like,
Yeah.
why is he scared of Crazy Steve's changing his logo? Why is that scary?
Why is he can he not watch a scary movie? Like it was just the logo with like dripping blood on it, but it
Not
was
even
like
blood. It
clearly
was red
just
color.
red. Yeah, it was just red. And it was just flickering. It's
Trey
like
looked like the biggest doofbag in the whole doofbag. I just made up a word.
doofbag.
Doofus and douchebag. I was trying to say at the same time. You know what? That's what he was. He was a doofbag. It was awful. This was on an
Yeah.
awful show. This would have
This
had
was
my goat, but there was so much bad stuff that I actually forgot how fucking bad this
so
was.
funny. I forgot too. It was that important. I forgot about it. Tommy
Jesus.
Dreamer and Mickey James defeated the Good Hands, Skylar and Hotch. You know what? I didn't hate this. I mean,
with a
it's
passion.
not a great match or anything, but and the Good Hands I thought were good in this match. I thought they made the match. I thought they worked well. They were bumping around like crazy men in there for Mickey and Tommy. You know what I mean? Like
they were
just
Tommy Dreamer. Of course, they had to
they were
bump
running.
their asses off.
They bumped their asses off, and I was just like, you know what? I think they made this an okay match. Like, it's not anything I'm telling anybody to go watch, but at this point, nothing on the show was good.
No,
And in a sea of really bad, I thought this was decent, right? Like, I kind of dug it a little bit, and I did like the ending where obviously Mickey and Dreamer won, and then Masha Slamovich comes in and nailed James from behind. So we're setting up the Masha Slamovich, and then Bully Ray is helping, like encouraging Masha to kill Mickey. So adding a layer there. So I thought the ending was fine, but the match, good hands. I think they got a good team. Terrible name. I know
they pointed it out to you too before the match by telling you they're making us be the Good Hands. Who's they?
Yeah.
Is Vince Russo back? Like,
right.
What?
It's like breaking the fourth wall. It's like, okay, come on, guys, just let's look. The Good Hands. It's like a wrestling term to say that, hey, look, these guys can have good matches with anybody, but they're never going to win. That's what that means, right? Like these guys are never going to be anything other than guys who can get good matches in the ring and always lose. So that's what that means in like wrestling terminology. Why are we using wrestling terminology? Well, I mean, look, impact watchers are a very insider crowd. I get it. But like, if you want these guys to be something someday, let's not straddle them with this gimmick name of they have good matches and always lose, right? Let's give them a different name, because look, they might impress you one day and become a really good tag team, and you might want to get them some wins. I don't know.
All I'm saying is, like, maybe don't torpedo their career when you first bring them in. Maybe crazy idea.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Backstage, Johnny Swinger and Ziki Dice caught up with Santino Marella to make a request. Before they could say too much, Dirty Dango, not selling a goddamn thing from his match, the deputy director of authority, Jesus Christ, arrived on scene and denied the request as Swinger and Dice looked puzzled but optimistic. What they didn't catch in the recap was that Ziki said, "You know what? I got the perfect guy that you can beat." And I know who this is, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but
Please
I'm
don't,
really
because
excited. You
I
have no
don't.
idea.
No, I have no idea.
I'm
Please don't tell
excited.
me.
I'm excited for next week when you find out. You honestly, you're gonna love it. You're gonna be mad, and then you're gonna love it again. I guarantee it. Like
You know me really
I,
well, so I'm
yeah,
very excited by this actually. And
yeah.
I don't know.
You're an old school fan like I am.
Yeah.
You're really gonna enjoy what's
Okay.
about to happen. You're
Don't.
gonna love, hate, and then love it again.
So Swinger had a couple lines that made me laugh as always. Like he
Yeah.
goes, "I need a push, the one that counts," because he's in the little ring thing stuck.
Yeah.
I laugh. That stuff works with Swinger, but with anybody else,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. Like calling Hotch and what's his nuts? The good
Skylar.
Skylar, thank
Yeah.
you. The good hands. It, if there was Swinger, it would kind of work because that's his deal. That's his gimmick, right? Is to be that insider joke guy. But to do
Yeah.
that because they're in a semi-serious role, like they're affiliated with Bully. Like, I don't know, it doesn't work. But it work. I mean, if they put him
Yeah.
with this guy, it would work fine because then they'd be comedy
Right.
material. And again, Swinger, unlike most 99% of the comedy in wrestling, which is I don't care what letters you put before the show, it's all bad, except for Johnny Swinger. He is legitimately funny.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Yep, absolutely. We got a promo for the upcoming events taking place at Cicero Stadium. And then a video promo aired on Rich Swann's thoughts and highlights in Impact Wrestling leading into his match against Josh Alexander. I thought this was probably the best thing on the show.
Highlight of the show. Actually, the
Yeah.
other highlight also involved Rich Swann. This was a great little recap. And this is what frustrates me is when we want to be serious about something, we do a great job. They do such an amazing work with putting video packages together. It's jarring to look at those pandemic era shows,
Yeah.
right? It's
Dude, it
wild.
feels like it was such a long time ago,
It
but it
does.
really wasn't.
We
We
covered
were
that.
we started our podcast
Yeah.
with no audience. That's
It,
fucking wild to
it,
me.
it is. The world has Isn't it? I mean, like that was 2 whole years of our lives where everything just kind of stopped, right?
Yeah.
And like except pro wrestling, but it was weird and we all kind of forgot very quickly what those shows looked like. And it was like cutting back to that, like there's Kenny Omega and Rich Swann
Yeah.
with nobody watching. It was
No.
I forgot that it was like that, man. It was weird.
Mhm.
Like thank God we're kind of found a semblance of
Yeah.
normalcy again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, Jordan Grace defeated Steph DeLander, and I gotta apologize to old Steph DeLander, formerly known as Persia Parata from NXT. I made a joke as soon as she came out. I said Steph DeLander definitely does not know who the Horror Pops are. Okay, most people in the world have no idea who that is, but her outfit reminds me of the lead singer from like the late 90s, early 2000s kind of punk band called the Horror Pops. It was like an mostly female punk band. And like, of course, only I, like a punk rock nerd from that era, would even know who that is. But so I was ready to shit all over her. And I thought she cut a pretty good promo and then proceeded to have a pretty good match with Jordan Grace. And I thought she was strong in the match. I really like she's got some size to her. I thought she worked well with Jordan. Obviously, Jordan's a tremendous worker, so maybe that's why it looks so good. But I thought this was a good match. I really enjoyed it. And Jordan Grace, the Grace driver, almost killed the poor lady.
I thought the same thing. I shuddered. I'm like, she barely got that head tucked in time. I thought
Yeah.
we were gonna watch her die. Her hair looks terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of Persia Parada in NXT because I'm a glutton for punishment, so I peek on
Yeah.
NXT on occasion. I like me some creeds. I never thought she looked very good there. So I'm gonna chalk this one up to Jordan Grace carrying her to a good match until I'm proven wrong. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say Jordan good worker for now, but I reserve the right to admit if I'm incorrect. I didn't think the promo was that great, to be honest with you. I think it was bad. I thought it was just kind of there. And that's kind of what I
Yeah.
thought about. That's kind of again, I'm already in a real shit foul mood watching this show. So
Yeah.
this probably, my opinion, this is probably colored by me going, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, well, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like a money making promo, but I thought it was a good
No,
promo to introduce a new character, and that's what they're doing here.
I
By
guess.
the way that they did the vignettes and then her cutting the promo and then proceeding to have a good match with Jordan Grace, I think she's sticking around for a while. I think she might be signed here.
I would assume
I haven't
so.
seen any announcements. They definitely need the help. So,
We got
but if that's the case, count me in. I was impressed.
we get very Bauer like whenever someone signs with the company. So
Yeah,
if they had signed her, I think we would have heard about it. But I
yeah,
could be wrong. I they could use a restocking of knockouts. More on that later.
yeah.
So I hope she sticks around because I think she needs it. I think she should get a chance. Right? Me
Mhm.
being salty on the match is neither here nor there. They they need to restock, and I think she's someone
I
to give a shot to.
I think let it breathe a little bit, JD, and then like over the weekend, if you get some time, they're gonna post it like on YouTube the full match. I
I'll
think
watch
you
it
got to
again.
give this one another shot.
I'll watch it again.
I thought the match was pretty strong.
I can admit when
Was it
I'm colored.
yeah. Backstage, Mike Cardona was furious and arguing his case to an official, stating he would rather change in the parking lot than a broom closet. Officials seemed concerned and told Cardona to follow him. And sure enough, Cardona was led to the parking lot with his gear chucked out the door behind him.
It's very Bobby Heenan. This was very Bobby
Yes.
Heenan skit.
Yeah, Bobby and Spinal Tap, he's just kind of
Hmm.
being led everywhere. Yeah. And then a
Yeah.
promo aired for New Japan Battle in the Valley 2023. So they're getting behind this New Japan stuff, man. Battle in the Valley is on live on pay-per-view. That's just a New Japan show, although Motor City Machine Guns are on it. So is Josh Alexander. Is Ace and Bay on that show? I can't remember.
I don't
I know the
remember.
Machine
I don't,
Guns. Machine
I don't
Guns are
think they
taking
are.
on the Machine Guns taking on the West Coast Wrecking Crew, which is
Hmm.
Royce Isaacs and another guy who I can't remember off the top of my head. But and then Josh Alexander's in an 8-man tag. So
That's what they do with
um,
him in New Japan. They don't
so
actually
and that
use Josh and anything. They
they
just
never
stick him
treat
in
Josh,
tags.
dude. They never treat Josh like a big star, but when Moose is there, he's fucking co-main, like middle. He's getting like prime real estate. But Josh, he's
Look
just
at
like a
him.
guy there, dude. Yeah, I get it, but I'm just like, that's just the way New Japan sees Josh, man.
Do you remember when we had that conversation last summer about who Impact could get into the G1? Turned out
I s-
nobody. But
yeah,
we were arguing whether they would let Josh in, and I said they don't think of him like that.
no,
And
and
this is just more
honestly,
proof.
I got into an argument with Chris Sams. Not argument is a strong word.
Debate.
An exchange, a debate, a friendly debate. And I was just like, I was like, if New Japan wants anybody, they would probably want Moose because every time Moose is on the show, they position him like a star. They remember Moose from his Ring of Honor days when he was wrestling Okada and those guys when he's getting a
Mhm.
big push there. And when he comes into New Japan, he usually wins and has like big matches, right? Like I went and saw him in LA at a New Japan show and he was like slotted in the co-main against Ishii, and they
Mhm.
went like 25 minutes and
I
fucking tore
remember.
it down.
Mhm.
And then he had another match with Juice Robinson again. Juice Robinson, a singles match on the dying days of Juice Robinson's career. He ended up having a really good match with Moose live on pay per view. So he just didn't think that New Japan would be interested. He ended up being right, and he said even if he were interested, Moose probably wouldn't have good matches there. And I was like, well, I disagree there, sir.
I
I
think
think people overlook Moose's ability.
I think you're right. I think that there's too much again, what you how you view Moose as a person, I think colors people's opinions of him as a worker. Because it's
Yeah.
not like he's had bad matches here in Impact. You know, I
No.
thought he had a better
No.
match with Ken. Like we had a match with Kenny, didn't he? What, 2 years
Yeah.
ago? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It was better than the Rich Swann match, right? We talked about that on the
I
show.
thought so. Well, because Rich Swann was gassed out in 10 minutes,
He
and
did gas out.
Moose went the full 20.
Mhm.
I think the only problem with the Moose match is they did it at the Jacksonville,
That's
the
right.
theater there,
Mhm.
but they did it after like 6 hours of AEW tapings with like indie talent surrounding the ring and posing as fans, and they were pretty much exhausted. So
Remember those days? Yeah, no.
yeah,
Again, we try to tell everybody that Josh Alexander, regardless of whether he's the Impact World Champion, is not viewed highly by New Japan. That's why who's he working right during this show?
yeah. And I don't even know. I don't know the names of the. I think Volador's in the match, which is obviously cool, and Rocky Romero's in that match.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
it's gonna be fun. There's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of good talent. I meant like when he is. I meant who's he working on the big New Japan show, the
Right.
big
And
WrestleMania show. Who's Josh
yeah,
working?
Kushida.
There you go. How is
Yeah.
Kushida viewed by New Japan?
As a junior heavyweight that will never be in the heavyweight division,
That's
and
why he left.
he's like an aging guy too, so he's not even gonna be top of their junior heavyweight division, which I think this is why we'll likely see Kushida more often than not in Impact. I think that he obviously Demore and those guys really like Kushida,
Because
so
he's good. He's really good.
he's really
But
good. Yeah,
but he left, right? Because he wanted to go. Remember, a few years back, he wanted to go heavy, and Gato's like, "Nah, man, we don't see you there," because he's
yeah,
small. So he left and went to WWE, and that went about as good as you'd expect. And now
yeah.
he's back, and he's slotted in the same spot he was in when he left, which is a declining junior heavyweight. And he's still one of the best junior heavyweights ever there, but they slotted him as a declining junior heavyweight, and he's right back in that role.
They did. Jim Miller was with Josh Alexander. Alexander commented on the legacy of Rich Swann and Impact before being interrupted by Kenny King. King took offense to Swann getting a title shot before Swann interrupted. After some back and forth by Swann, he actually punched King in the face. Alexander stepped away, said, "You guys got this," and they faced off. King ended up backing off, didn't accept a match. He said, "I'm going to see you later." So King's got something up his sleeve here.
Got me
That
former. That was great. This is great.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
Josh cut a mediocre ass promo, quite frankly. I thought Josh is good when he gets into the moment, right? When Josh is in the moment, he does good. This,
Yeah.
not
No,
his strength.
When you bring Josh's family into it or his love of wrestling, like he's all in. When it's just him trying to like transition, like, hey, I'm just friends with this guy and we're just gonna go out and be friends and have a great match. I just want to give him a title. Like, it's not that interesting, right? He's just kind of like it's not that interesting. So but the good news is the match is gonna be awesome. So because both guys are great.
It is. I thought Kenny King did a great job. I thought Kenny King's promo was fantastic.
I thought he stole the segment.
He totally did. But then Rich Swann was great too.
Yeah.
This segment got me so excited to watch Rich Swann and Kenny King.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and
I
I
nothing to tell me on the main event for the pay-per-view. But I'm real excited to watch Rich Swann and Kenny King at this point.
It's like almost like Josh is playing fodder to the rebuild of Rich Swann, right? Because they had the video package of Rich getting the title and then losing it to Kenny Omega and never really getting his shot to get the title back for the company, and that kind of disappointment. And now we're 2 years removed from that situation and he's finally getting a title shot back. And Josh is kind of like background music to it. And now Kenny King is upset and Kenny King wants to be the guy. He didn't think Rich deserves it. And so he's trying to get that spot. And now we're going to get Kenny King versus Rich Swann. I'm thinking it like here in the net before No Surrender.
So.
To get Rich another strong win heading into the pay-per-view makes sense.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. That's fine. It's good booking. It is a weird spot to put your champion, right? I almost think Josh maybe shouldn't have been in this segment or should have done this in the ring or something, because it was just super cold until Rich Swann came out, and Rich Swann and Kenny King, they fed up each other really well. Like Josh was Josh third wheeled the segment, and he's the world champion.
And what happens to third wheel sometimes? They feel awkward and they leave, and that's exactly
what happened. Josh is like, it's between y'all. I'm out.
Yeah. Death Dolls defeated Killer Keller and Taylor Wilde. Do we need to go over this anymore, or can I just go straight to Hex?
Go ahead, Hex.
Okay. So yeah, they defeated Taylor Wilde was doing bullshit with the tarot cards. It was horrendous. We talked about it in the beginning of the show. I don't want to go back into it.
I hated it.
After the match, Father James Mitchell came out to the entrance ramp and cut a promo on the Death Dolls, specifically Rosemary. Mitchell stated that Father wasn't happy. His boss, Rosemary's dad, who I think might be Kevin Sullivan, if I'm remembering how it all works in the Dark Realm. I can't remember all that bullshit.
Stupid. It's all
I think it might be Kevin Sullivan. Anyway, he said he's placing a hex on Rosemary. And then out of nowhere, Allison Kay and Marty Bell were in the ring to lay out the Death Dolls. And I thought the Allison Kay and Marty Bell part was pretty strong there. We had some bullshit getting to that point, but I thought they looked cool. coming in and attacking. I honestly, I'm not that familiar with these girls. I don't know. I don't know if they're good or not. But what I do know is we just doubled up the Knockouts tag team division. So let's go. We basically doubled it all in one segment. We now have 2 teams in the Knockouts division, which means we might have Knockouts tag team matches again.
I'm fairly certain you're discussing a former Knockouts champion, sir.
Yeah, I am, but I wasn't watching during that time. I don't really know much about
Fair. I
Allison
was.
Kay.
I don't
Yeah.
think she's. I don't think she's very good, to be honest. I don't think Marty Bell is very good either. That
Well,
might
I
get me
know
into some trouble. But
I know
honestly,
they're a tag team in NWA. I know that.
they are
That's
taking
what
me
I
to
know.
be. They're called Hex. I don't think they have any magic stuff. That may
Okay.
change. That may change here in
Yeah.
Impact because
Yeah.
this is just what we do here is stupid shit. That being said, I like bringing in a tag team, right?
Yes.
We've been saying this for months, years maybe. Like if you're going to have a tag team division, you need tag teams. And I don't know if they're going to lean into the fact that Allison Kay is former NWA champion, former, Impact Knockouts champion. She's got a pedigree. She's got a history in this company. So I don't know how much we're going to lean into that. I don't know what they're going to be. They weren't all spookied out. They were just, Allison Kay, Marty Bell, which is fine by me.
Yeah.
I don't love them as workers, but they are going to help this division. I think they'll have fine matches with, Death Dolls. It'll be fine.
Yep. Eddie Edwards caught up with Raj Singh and Shira. Edwards told Singh and Shira to take out PCO. So there you go. And then we go to the Motor City Machine Guns. They met up with Kushida, before being interrupted by Ace Austin and Chris Bay. And then a challenge was made for a 6-man tag match at No Surrender, and it was revealed that Kenta will side with the Bullet Club to take on the Time Machines. And before that, it's not in the write-up here. Before that, Ace Austin and Chris Bay also referenced their history with the Motor City Machine Guns, saying, hey, we aren't the team that we were before we left to New Japan, right? And we're coming for those titles. So they're still dropping we're still progressing that story that's been going on since the last fall. So I thought that was important to reveal. But yeah, Kenta coming to Impact, man. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Kenta's beat up a lot, but I think this in a 6-man, especially with Ace and Bay, will be good. I didn't like the segment though, because I don't like these segments because it just becomes 6 people talking over each other, and it becomes like a lot of mumble jumbled words, and it's not laid out very well. So I did not like the segment, but I like where we're gonna go with it, to be honest. It should still be Time Machine Guns. Time Machine is stupid. Time Machine Gun sounds cool, but match is gonna be good. Match is gonna be great.
I did like that they sold, like the Machine Guns and Kushida, sold that they were slightly scared that Kenta was coming in.
Yeah, it was great.
I felt like that was like, of course those guys are all pros, right? So they know the deal. But when they were like, oh, there's just 2 of you and 3 of us, and they go, oh, well, with you guys are time machines, well, it's time to go to sleep. And they said Kenta, and then their face just like, oh, we're gonna get our fucking heads kicked off. And maybe, but that's if they get Noah Kenta. But this is Bullet Club Kenta, who's lazy.
If Time Machine could actually go back in time and bring back 2008 Kenta, we'd be in trouble. But no, buddy. You're getting 2023 Kenta, who's pretty beat up at this point. He does good character work. Actually, he did you see when they brought him and Marifucci back?
I did. I saw them. I liked that match. Yeah,
it was good. It was the best.
Good. Yeah,
it was the best Kenta's looked in years. I don't know if being back in Noah kind of like reinvigorated him a little bit, but I mean, like earlier this year, he was doing the Rambo with his stupid walk and stuff like that. Like Kenta isn't what we think of Kenta. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
when I was excited for him to go to New Japan, because I didn't watch old school Noah Kenta when he came to WWE. So he came to WWE as Hideo Itami, right? During that, so what I did was when I heard about this guy, I was like, well, let me go back and watch some Kenta stuff. So I went online. I was like, this guy is a motherfucker. This guy is one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen, right? I didn't watch tons of matches, but I saw plenty. And then he gets to NXT, and then unfortunately he just stayed injured all the time, and he never really healed properly. But when he went to New Japan, I was pretty excited. I was like, this is the perfect spot for him because Noah was on the downhill slide at the time. They hadn't sold their company to was it Cyber Agent? They hadn't sold that yet. So I was excited. And then he gets there, and he's still basically Hideo Itami, but with a Bullet Club shirt. Except for he's like a heel now, right? And so I just don't think he's comfortable being a New Japan heel. He just isn't. I think he needs to go back to Noah, honestly, because each time he's gone back, he's looked great.
Well, Noah's the old guy promotion now, so he would be just fine there. And I think that there's just some. I mean, like honestly, I think this version of Kenta is kind of worse than Hideo Itami, to be honest with you. Like
Yeah.
he's a character guy. Like
Mhm.
it's like he brought back all the shtick that he picked up from working in NXT, right? Like the character shtick stuff, and brought that into New Japan, and it's
Well,
part of House of Torture, and it's so awful.
and the thing is that Gato likes that shit.
Oh, he loves it. He's a
You
Memphis
know what I
fan.
mean? Yeah,
He's
he's a
a
Memphis.
Memphis
So
fan. Yeah.
he likes like Hideo, sorry, Kenta. When he's doing his matches, he's doing kind of a poor man's Jay White without a lot of the athleticism that Jay has, right? Because it takes him forever to get his match started. He almost wants like the
Mm.
fans to earn him working. So like 10 minutes in is finally when it gets going, and then it fizzles out, and he just can't keep up the pace the way that Jay can. So I don't know. I just have not been a big fan of his New Japan run. That said, I like him in a trios match here. And
Yes.
if Steve Macklin gets his wish, Macklin versus Kenta could be very fucking interesting because I think Macklin will pull a great match out of that guy. And I
do
think
too.
Kenta's still capable.
I do too. I think if Kenta comes to the US, people are going to expect Kenta. Whereas, let's be honest, a lot of those New Japan fans didn't watch Noah, right?
Mhm.
There's a big divide in fan bases over there. I don't think people. You think stuff's tribal over here? Like it's different. I think if he comes to the US, I think you're going to see a high effort Kenta, especially in this match with these 5 guys. Like the Guns are going to carry Kenta something great. Like Kushita's going to know how to work with him. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that they're able to channel, I don't know, like at least a 2013-ish Kenta for a night, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That'd be great. Jim Miller was with where am I at? Oh, PCO defeated She-Ra in a qualifying match. Not much to the match, but what I did like was the finish because PCO did his PCO salt,
Look
and
good.
poor She-Ra ate every fucking ounce of that salt, man. That was brutal. PCO's a big guy, and all his weight just landed right on She-Ra.
He goes over it perfectly. Like he gets a great rotation of that moonsault. It's not like when Bam Bam
Yeah.
Bigelow would do like kind of over the shoulder moonsault. Like no, he goes straight back, and it's a pretty moonsault for a dude in his 50s.
Yeah, and a big dude. And
Big dude,
man,
yeah.
dude, he is so over here. These people fucking love this
He's
guy.
he's perfect for
He's
this company. Perfect.
yeah. Yeah, he's the right combination of silly and serious, right? Like he's silly on the way to the ring with his Frankenstein stuff,
Yeah.
and he gets in the ring and it's pure fucking chaos.
Yeah.
I love everything about like look, this is not a 5-star classic,
No.
but I like the Shira PCO match because PCO was just super over. He had a dive to the outside, brought him back in, did the PCO assault, 1, 2, 3, boom, we're done, and the crowd ate it up. So I thought this was a strong segment.
On this show, it was the least offensive thing. So
Miller was with Cardona. Cardona stated that he had to change into his ring gear in the parking lot and sought to find out Joe Hendry. As he was going up to the dressing room, he found Brian Myers leaving the dressing room with shrimp in his hand. I really like this part. As Cardona was confused, the trio of talent walked past Cardona singing Hendry's theme song, and Myers clapped as they got to that part of the song. And then Cardona questioned Myers on why he did that, to which Myers responded that the theme song was catchy. So that was also a little bit of foreshadowing too. So then we go backstage. Frankie Kazarian was with Sami Callihan. He questioned Callahan's loyalty to the design, asking him if he was just kind of working a deal here, if he's trying to work a swerve. I can't remember the term that he used. Anyway, the design showed up, and then Kazarian challenged Khan to a match, which I don't want to see.
Big fart.
Yep. And then we go to the main event, which I really loved. Impact Digital Media Champion Joe Hendry defeated Matt Cardona. The crowd fucking ate this match up, and Impact crowds are usually on their hands or playing on their phones. But they were so into both of these guys. Cardona is a great heel. I think they got a really good babyface in Joe Hendry here, and I think Matt Cardona made him a better babyface tonight. I thought the two worked well together. The Cardona hit the radio silence immediately, and Joe Hendry ended up kicking out, and I thought that set the tone for the rest of the match. Lots of big moves, lots of good near falls. Eventually, Brian Myers came into the ring to help Cardona win the match. He threw the belt in the ring. The referee distracted, comes in, goes to hit the roster cut on Joe Hendry, and then he ends up hitting Cardona, who then what's the name of Hendry's finisher? I'm trying to Hendry took the opportunity to capitalize, toss Myers out of the ring, and nail Cardona with a standing ovation. That's
there
right.
We go. Yeah,
to retain the Digital Media Championship. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a great way to end the show.
It reminded me of a WWF 90s style
Yes.
match with two bigger guys, which is
Mhm.
not my personal favorite style of match, but it was fine. It was well worked. Like it's two
Yeah.
dudes that are super over, right?
Mhm.
With the Impact crowd. Like Joe Hendry works here. He works,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
The crowd loves his shtick. I wish it wasn't the same song that we got again. I wish they did a little something different, mainly because I feel like the joke. I feel that way clearly. I am alone. Crowd loved it.
Yeah, because the crowd loved it,
Crowd
man.
loved
Yeah.
it. I thought it was a
Yeah.
little played out, but it's also they heard it in these tapings are done in one day, so it was still fresh to them. You know,
Yeah.
so for me, I'm like, oh, let's got this again, huh? It's fine. Like it's good. I really think Joe Hendry. I think Joe Hendry could be world champion in like a year. I really do.
I thought I thought both these guys could be world champion here because I
We've
thought
been saying
Cardona
that.
was a really strong.
We've been saying that for a year about Matt Cardona in this company. I don't know what their
Yeah.
plans are for the future.
Well, yeah.
Patreon.
Well, let me finish this, and we'll head to the Patreon because I got some thoughts about Cardona's future. But after the match, Moose hit the ring and he attempted to nail Hendry with a spear, but hit Cardona instead. Poor Cardona.
I
Hendry
laughed.
tossed Moose. Yeah, Hendry tossed Moose from the ring and left the ring himself to grab his title on the mic. Hendry stated that with his music not currently playing, he played some music of his own in tribute to Cardona. And then, of course, they played Edge's Bitch while the crowd sang along and clapped along and chanted at Cardona, calling him Edge's Bitch. And I thought this was a fun way to end the show. And
Oh yeah,
a,
worked.
a poor effort overall, but I thought they ended strong. So,
Yeah, I mean,
so there you go. That was the episode. Head over to patreon.com/fightgamemedia. We're gonna keep the conversation going. We got some news to talk about. Deanna's contract that we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk Cardona's future because I got a theory about why all this stuff happened to him tonight. So we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Patreon. And JD and I are also going to cover MLW. We JD got a chance to watch MLW Underground. I got a chance to watch most of it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about MLW's ratings versus Impact's ratings, and I'm going to try to explain that to the masses. So keep it right here on patreon.com/fightgamemedia, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. We will be back next week. We're out.
What the world is watching.
What the world is watching.